Good morning to all. This is Dr. Gaurav. Just start the session.
अरुण सर आवाज आ रही है क्या?
No, sir. No, sir. No.
Protect bank from millions.
Let me inform him. Let me
Very
inform him.
regular fraud.
I think there is some issue on his system.
I think there is some issue with Dr. Gaurav Raj's system. Participants, please wait for 2-3 minutes. I think with there is some internet issue. So he'll be joining back. Yeah, he's there now. He's there now. Kindly unmute yourself, Dr. Gaurav. Dr. Ankur, kindly make him the co-host. I think he cannot unmute
Done, sir.
himself.
Done.
Sorry for this delay. Due to some technical issue, I was signed out. Hi, this is Dr. Gaurav. I'm just formally introducing myself. I must welcome you all in this fourth FDP, which is having a specialized area in recent advancement in computer science and allied domain. We are having with us Mr. Abhishek Acharya. He is co-founder of RIL. It is India's only blockchain native fintech platform. He is Forbes 30 under 30 honoree and a 3 times entrepreneur and owner of and author of multiple books. He is in the field of blockchain about 5 years. At Real Technology, he is building India's first agri-fintech blockchain platform that can save 25 to 40% of farmers' income and protect banks from millions of very regular frauds in the segment of warehouse receipt finance. The integrated mega platform is currently deployed in 1,400 warehouses across 5 states in India. RIL has incubated at multiple locations, just like IIM Ahmedabad, University of Toronto, gain in the collaboration with MIT, etc. RIL has constantly received recognitions in centralized and decentralized finance from FICCI, Indian Banks Association, and ITDever. Abhishek has been an advisor to several startups, just like esports.com, Vila, Blockchain Advisory Council, and NEFCON. He has published books, and his second book, which is a title as Secure Chain, Cyber Security and Blockchain Powered Automation, has been published by BPB Publication. He is a regular speaker in blockchain and show students the importance of choosing blockchain as a career path. Apart from that, he has taken lecture in blockchain over 5,000 plus faculty, PhD students and students worldwide. He has been invited in multiple conferences and workshops. Few of them are just like as decentralized 2019 in Athens, Greece, Blockchain World Forum in China. He is also act as a panelist in Best Crypto Educator in Guru's Award. He is also linked with academia as an educator with ODEM and a visiting faculty at Amity's post-graduation program in blockchain and management. He has also advised the centralized blockchain professional CBB course by EC Council that's present across 145 countries. He was nominated for Top 50 Tech Leads Award by Intercon Dubai. So these are few lines just for introduction of Mr. Abhishek, Mr. Abhishek Bhattacharya. Now I would like to invite
Abhishek ji, first of all, congratulations to you to be the Forbes 30 under 30 honee.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much.
Many congratulations. And second thing I want to say here that he have taught around 6,000 plus faculties, PhD scholars and students till now. Now, over to you, Abhishek ji. Thank you for being here.
Sure. Thank you so much, Dr. Gaurav Raj sir and Dr. Ankur Chaudhary sir for inviting me to this to speak here. All of you have been my past faculty, and I still remember all of our days together. And it is so wonderful to be speaking to your audience again. And I have taught a lot of these lectures, but every new lecture that I have, I still have the same excitement and energy, because blockchain is very forthcoming. And I hope that everyone, I can see 66 participants are there today here till now. And I really hope that it is a very, very good time that everyone has started picking up blockchain as, as an interest area, be it anyone, be it student or a student or someone who has already done a PhD in computer science and now wants to do something in blockchain. And I think it's the right time. As also you can see from all the all the news that you see and all the developments that are happening in blockchain, be it just blockchain technology or fintech or cryptocurrencies, all digital currencies and cross-border digital payments. All of these use cases are very fledgling right now. And if someone is coming, and there is a huge dearth of talent, not only just from the technical perspective, but also from teaching to education. Currently, many universities have started like this FDP. So many have started doing FDPs on blockchain in the last 1.5, 2 years. Then many have courses on blockchain. Many universities have started that. So it is the right time, and a lot of career opportunities are available, I believe, for everyone who is interested in blockchain technology. Today, that is my purpose. I'll just share the screen. We will go ahead and try to take that forward for all of you here, 69 now participants I can see. And I hope that it is really, really useful today. And by the end of the session, I understand we have around 1.5 hours. By the end of the session and last 10 minutes or so, we'll keep for questions, because I believe that questions part is what is going to be most valuable, because there is only limited items that I can show on a presentation. But if you have questions from anywhere in the blockchain domain, anywhere, any technology that not even I'm speaking about today in my session, feel free to ask them in the last 10, 12 minutes that we leave from after 11, 15, 20, and make sure that IST, and make sure that you get all of your questions answered. If we are not able to answer any question here, I will be sharing my credentials. Please feel free to reach out. This is what I do. I love doing this. Whenever I can help in blockchain. Blockchain actually is a domain where everyone is very collaborative in nature. Even when I was learning, whoever else was already there helped me a lot. And the same thing exactly what I do. So today we are not going to go very technical on anything. This is one of the very initial sessions, I understand, in the FDP. And so my purpose would be to get you on the onset of learning more blockchain technology and more use cases and more, you can say more, get into the coding part of it, solidity, smart contracts, etc. There are so many things to study in blockchain, to be honest. So we'll start with some of the leading industry use cases In my past experience teaching so many lectures across so many different institutions and countries, I have noticed one thing, that at the end of the day, all it boils down to is what exactly are we what exactly are we focusing on when we start to build our own use case. Many that we have found, many other founders, many other organizations or deployments in blockchain, we have seen a very common pattern, which is that just because blockchain technology is in hype, people tend to just force fit blockchain technology into any use case. That use case might not even need blockchain technology. It is good with legacy technologies, legacy databases, MySQL, Mongo, etc. The point is that people believe that just to understand just to get the investor funds or get out ahead in the market, blockchain technology is the key to go for, and that's a very wrong decision. So today's agenda is definitely to go through some of those use cases which have actually used blockchain, one of them being mine. And in addition to that, to open up your minds that where you can implement blockchain. It might happen that you are working on public blockchain or any blockchain that is non-public, it's private or permission. There are plenty of use cases on both sides of the domain. And I've tasted both, so I can definitely tell you a lot of things about when and how to go for one of those such use cases. So that's largely what today's agenda is. I don't need to give any introduction because Dr. Gaurav Raj and Dr. Ankush sir has given more than enough introduction for myself. But my credentials are here on the screen. Please feel free to take a screenshot or write them down. Please reach out. I would love to speak about use cases, any questions that you have, which we might not be able to solve here in this short amount of time that we have in this FTP, but please feel free to reach out. I'm very, very active on these profiles. At the end of the lecture, I'll also give these credentials on chat, so you can take it from there as well. But please feel free to reach out. This is what I do. Here's the purpose today. So talking about my own use case, because that is a very big use case. In fact, one of India's leading use cases at this moment. And also what are some of the use cases around the world. And believe me, MNCs, conglomerates, everyone is coming on blockchain right now. To quote a few, Nestle has put their entire coffee supply chain, which we don't even discuss today. It is such a good use case, but still we don't have time to discuss that. But at the end of the session, I have left some links on the presentation itself. I'll share the presentation also with sir. And I have put links to the Nestle use case, the Myers use case. All of these are big use cases who are conglomerates, MNCs, and they have applied blockchain technology successfully, and their use case tells us that what kind of benefit that they have been able to achieve by implementing these use cases. So we'll start off with that. Just 1 second, I'll start the pen. Yeah, okay. All right, thank you. So we'll start off with the Agri-Fintech use case. I'll tell you more about it in just a moment. We'll take a quick taste of blockchain, how exactly. Many of you might already be by now, because it's high time, you might already have attended other such sessions or have deployed your own some softwares, and you would be in a good position to understand how blockchain looks like. But still, for the larger part of the audience, we'll go through some of we will not discuss fundamentals of blockchain, because that's we do not have time for that today in this session. And I hope there are other sessions and other speakers talking about that in this FTP. But we'll take a look at how permission blockchain looks like, and what are the use cases, live use cases. So this would be one of my live use cases, which is directly on blockchain. And I would request you to participate at that time. You can just scan a code and you will be able to access the blockchain from your phone also, which would practically make your Safari or your Chrome phone browser a dApp, a decentralized app, right? Whichever can access a blockchain network. Then we'll take a look at a quick DeFi use case. So decentralized finance, DeFi's decentralized finance is one of the most tempting use cases right now in blockchain. People are going gaga over it, that this is the future of technology, or this is the future of fintech. And this will give access to a lot of, this will drive financial inclusion to a lot of extent. That's one DeFi use case that we're going to cover. And then we're going to cover some use cases across pharma, pharmacovigilance, then networks, then supply chain, etc. One of these use cases is Amazon's use case. I think Amazon and another organization will check it. So yeah, so let's get started. That's what the agenda is for today. We'll start with Whirl. Fintech for farmers. This is my own use case, and this is why I said that this is one of India's leading use cases, because this is being taught currently, about to be taught in the MBA program of IIM Ahmedabad. So IIM Ahmedabad converted our our entire platform and the case study use case into a case study for their premier MBA program. And so I'll leave this link in the PPT as well and on the chat later on, or you can just search Google for World IIM Ahmedabad FinTech case study or blockchain case study. So so the entire case study details out, taking excerpts from that case study is what I present here today to understand my use case. It is one of the first use cases in India to be implementing agri fintech on blockchain technology. I just let you know. So it is first of all a B2B2C kind of a startup. It is a B2B2C kind of a platform. The customers or the nodes, the blockchain nodes, you can say, are the government organizations, the government warehouses, the banks, and then any other third parties who are involved in this process. This is globally the first such blockchain platform for any kind of agri financing. And when you are talking about asset-backed finance, any kind of asset-backed finance, we are Asia's first. It is a blockchain technology backend. It works on, I'll give you a quick note here. It works on a permissioned blockchain. So the backend is of a permissioned blockchain called Quorum. Quorum is a blockchain that was built by JP Morgan on top of Ethereum. Ethereum, you must have heard about the Ethereum blockchain. So Ethereum is a public blockchain, but JP Morgan took their code, forked it, and created Quorum blockchain. And on top of that, built some very critical features which are very helpful to fintech organizations or banks. That is why JP Morgan itself has been able to run a 400 bank strong network, a network of 400 banks and other financial institutions running globally at this moment on Quorum blockchain. And similarly, it was a good choice for us also. So we chose Quorum blockchain, and now we are running our own use case where there are 5 lenders on the platform at this moment. There are 1,400 plus warehouses in this at this moment, most of them in Maharashtra. All these are government warehouses, government and private both warehouses. And we have just closed India's largest private bank, who are coming as a node on the blockchain network. So it's a very tricky use case. Earlier when we started, this is why it interests a lot of people, whoever read the IIM Ahmedabad case study. It's very interesting because people believe that banks are very against cryptocurrencies and blockchain. The point is that banks are not against blockchain. And once we figured out a use case where they have faced billions of dollars in frauds, scams, and scandals, and they knew that they have not been able to solve that with the legacy database technologies, then we brought our blockchain solution to them, and it was a no-brainer for them. It was a very easy choice. In the earlier days, 2019, early on 2019, banks did ask us a lot of questions that, okay, are there cryptocurrencies involved? Is there something like, is the data secure? Is this even legal? Point is that talking about legality, there is nothing illegal or legal about a technology. Artificial intelligence cannot be legal or illegal. You're doing something, you're creating a bot which does something illegal is what makes it illegal, right? The technology cannot be illegal. Similarly, blockchain technology cannot be legal or illegal. It's a technology, like any other technology, cloud and everything else that's available in the world. When you use it for an implementation like cryptocurrency, then also it does not make it illegal. Point is that what are you using that use case for, or that implementation for? So crypto comes here, and crypto is based on top of blockchain. Similarly, there can be other numerous use cases. It can be decentralized storage like IPFS, interplanetary file system, works on blockchain. There can be other use cases also. There are so many use cases. Decentralized finance can work with is working on blockchain technology as well, and also uses cryptocurrencies. So there can be multiple permutations and combinations of such use cases that can happen. Just by looking at crypto, you cannot call blockchain as illegal or legal even. So we have to understand that blockchain is the underlying technology, and anything on top of that is a different use case and a different discussion altogether. While the time we were doing Whirl, we had not even discussed cryptocurrency with any bank. We did not use a shred of cryptocurrency in our platform. It was just using blockchain. So definitely, so I understand for many people here in the audience right now, your blockchain journey must have started by knowing about Bitcoin. That's fine. That's what the use case has been for a lot of people. The point here is that it is one use case that became famous and that became very popular, and then it made blockchain technology very popular. But it is also 13 years old, 12 years old, right? 2009 is when Bitcoin started. Talking about blockchain, there are multiple other use cases. Nestle does not use cryptocurrency in its own supply chain blockchain use case. We do not use cryptocurrency in our world fintech, agri-fintech use case. So definitely crypto and blockchain can exist, can coexist, as well as can be very independently handling different use cases. This is the use case that gave first time real-time agri loans in India. Earlier, talking about farmers, earlier farmers used to get, even now without us, farmers get this kind of loan in around 13 to 15 days. I have personally interviewed farmers, and this is what we knew this first of all. Plus farmers have told us that these interviews are available online as well, where they have said that earlier 13 to 15 days of their time went on getting these loans. Let me remind you, these farmers are marginal or smallholder farmers. They are not well to do, they don't have money. They are waiting for their harvest period to happen, so that their harvesting to happen, so that they can take the crops, sell it in the market, get the money, and then incur that in their household expenses, like getting the children educated or getting the children married or other household expenses. If after harvesting they have to take plus 15 days, 13 days, and during these 13 days, let me remind you that they have to visit post to pillar, run post to pillar at banks. These branches are sometimes at least 40-50 kilometers away from their homes. So that's the part of the story that is impacted the most, because once we bring real-time loans in India with this factor, India in the last decade itself, more than 3 lakh farmers, more than 300K farmers in the last decade itself committed suicides because of lack of funds, because of lack of capital. So this is so hence this comes as a very much of a boon to them, because this is real-time loans. And they have given us testimonials like, I was not even back home from my warehouse and I got my message on my phone that congratulations, 1.5 lakh of loan, whatever they asked for, has been credited to your account. This is not something, they are not accustomed to Swiggy and Zomato and Policy Bazaar and all of these things, apps that we are accustomed to in our life, where we get insurance at the tip of our finger, we get food from the comfort of our home. This kind of an implementation is technically or kind of one of the first such implementations in their lives. So this was revolutionary and life-changing for them, which is also the reason why this entire use case has been covered by United Nations Development Program, UN Technology Bank, Google SDG, Google, Amazon, Microsoft. We are one of the top 11 startups with Microsoft because of our public goods work, because of our public domain work. Amazon has given us a lot of credits and has taken, because we are a part of their public sector domain. So that's where other organizations have started supporting world a lot, because they have understood that, okay, if government's goal is to double the farmers' income by 2023 or 2022, this kind of a use case is helping that. Why? Because this kind of a use case, I hope I have a slide on that, but this kind of a use case increases the farmers' realizable income by up to 40%. And this number is in India. Talking about areas like Africa, this is up to 300%. That is humongous, and all the more reason that why they must be encouraged to not sell their crops right then after the harvesting period, rather go for a delayed sale of their crops, and use this capital that we are providing them as interim capital to be able to later on realize these kinds of gains in their income. I'll quickly tell you that, okay, after all of this background, I'll quickly tell you that it's a very simple process. It's a very simple process. If I'm a farmer, I have harvested 1,000 quintals of rice, for example. Now I have two options. I can immediately sell it off in the market to get the money, or what I can do is I can take those 1,000 quintals in a nearby government or a private warehouse, a godown, a warehouse, and store it there. In return, I will get something called a warehouse receipt. WHR is a warehouse receipt. Once I get that, I will be able to take that warehouse receipt. I can do nothing with that. I can just, if I don't need money, it's fine. Or I can use that warehouse receipt, go to the bank and use that as a collateral and take up to 70. Usually, most of the banks do up to 70%. So 70% LTV, 70% loan value on the total receipt value. So if 1,000 quintals of rice was about 1 lakh, for example, I can take 70,000 INR worth of loans on that WHR. That's where, by the way, the name comes from. Warehouse world is coming from warehouse receipt lending. So that's where the name comes from. So once this warehouse receipt is done, I can take the loans. So if I would have chosen the first way, that is right after harvesting, I would have sold the crops, I would have got pennies on the dollar, few paise or few cents for every kilogram of potato, of rice, of soybean, maize. Soybean was very, very badly hit just 6 months back. If you remember in the last season, if any of you had that looked into that, you would see that soybean faced a lot of hit. But at that time, soybean loans in our system, went quite high, because everyone knew that, okay, if I sell off in the market right now, it's a very bad option. okay, we have an option to take a loan against it, let us do that. Now, later on, 2.5, 3 months later, when they sold it, they earned a lot on the soybean per kilogram of the soybean as compared to earlier. So this is what the entire cycle is. So once they take a loan, later on, after 3-6 months, whenever they're selling off, they can come, they can repay the loan, and they can take the goods from the warehouse back, and then they can sell it in the market. With that is what gives them this increment in the income. Let us start with some numbers, very, very interesting numbers. In India right now, talking about India, we are mostly based in India right now, going into Africa and other Southeast Asian countries with similar agricultural markets, where the similar problems are there. More than 138 million farm holders are there in India. India's agricultural share of India's GDP or economy was more than 15%. It has dipped below, terribly below right now. Multiple reasons could be there, but it has dipped terribly below. The government has always wanted to targeted to double the farmers' income. It has not happened that way, but it is an ongoing process. So, but yeah, there are many such incentives that have been given to farmers, the Kisan Credit Card Scheme, or use cases like ours, where the flow of income is increasing in the farmer's pocket. There are certain innovations in agri-finance. As I said, Kisan Credit Card Scheme, if anyone is interested, can take a look at that. Has nothing to do with blockchain. Has been a success for farmers. Same for pre-harvest loans, which is personal loans for farm mechanization, pre-harvest, taking loans to buy tractors, buy other equipment. And then comes warehouse receipt farm financing, which is a post-harvest. So this is pre-harvest, and this is a post-harvest kind of a loan. In India, the post-harvest loans are less than 5% of the total agri financing that are happening. So that's a very worrisome number. But so that is why we targeted this, and we put that on blockchain. And then blockchain has changed the equation to a very, very great extent, because both the sides of the platform, not just farmers, but the banks are also being benefited at a good extent. If that would not have been there, only farmers coming on the blockchain network could not have done anything. So I've already explained this, so I'll skip that over, that this is what the entire financing model is. I've just explained that before with the 1,000 quintals example. So that's it. At the end, once you take the loan, once you take the loan, you can use it as interim capital, and then you can later on repay that loan to take your commodities from the warehouse. This acts as a secured working capital for the banks as well when they're giving these loans. This is a collateralized loan. So why? I have already shared with you that why this use case was important to be done on blockchain technology. Number one was that scams were happening, and on blockchain, one of the first characteristics, I'm pretty sure you've in the past attended some blockchain fundamentals lecture session as well, but still, to give you a hint, to give you a basic understanding here, there are a few features of blockchain technology. Number one is immutability. It is the most common word you'll find associated with blockchain tech. Second is transparency. Security, robustness. There could be many more. These are the top 4 ones that are coming to my mind at this moment. So immutability, transparency, security, the platform being robust, all of these, and there are many others as well. All of these characteristics come together, and when these are usable in a use case, that is when it makes the most sense to deploy one use case on blockchain technology. So immutability is when you cannot change any record once it goes there. It is not MongoDB or any NoSQL or MySQL database that you right click and then you edit it and then you save it, and that's done. Once anything goes on the blockchain, like for us, even if something incorrect happens on the blockchain from the banker, these are humans, right? The banker is a human, the warehouse person is a human. If any human error comes in, it is actually a headache. I'll tell you very honestly. For us, it is actually a very big headache to go through another round of things, another cycle of things to rectify that error, because we cannot just right click and delete and do something. So if the loan has happened, we have to we have to kind of reset it and do a lot of things, but cannot edit the blockchain ledger. So that's why immutability is a feature which helps with a lot of frauds that happen in the blockchain framework. And in the past, many such frauds have come out. See, when we are talking about government organizations or other private organizations, if a fraud happens, it takes a decade or so to get unearthed. On blockchain, it would take a couple of blocks to happen. And after that, every other node will be able to see that where is the problem, and they would be able to understand that, okay, some node has messed up with the blockchain, and it is time that we do something about it. It is not years, it is not decades, it is just a couple of blocks, which might be the next 5 minutes or 15 minutes or even less than that. So that's one of the factors of blockchain technology. As you can see in banks, NSCL scam in India, $1 billion at that time. AP fraud, 400 crores. So Qingdao scandal, China, 650 million. Access World fraud, again, warehouse receipt finance. Here, Citibank, Standard Chartered Bank, all these big names were hit by this fraud. In many cases, even banks like Punjab National Bank decided to pull off from this entire domain, that they will not give any warehouse receipt finance loans. That's where blockchain comes in. And now the banks are accepting it because they know this is the way to prevent these kinds of frauds. In addition to that, okay, so another thing that comes to my mind is that blockchain provides a lot of disintermediation. This is one of the biggest factors of any kind of digital technology, plus especially blockchain. That's why any kind of intermediaries who are existing there in this fintech domain, agri-finance domain, our blockchain platform has helped with that disintermediation, which has resulted in which was earlier very high turnaround time, which has now come to real time. So the turnaround time has reduced to a great extent. Similarly, because of that and reduction in manual system, the cost of lending and the cost of borrowing has got down for the bank and the farmer respectively. The grassroots impact is tremendous. At this moment, I told you earlier that 95% of it. So first of all, it is the post-harvest segment is less than 5%. In that entire share which goes to the post-harvest finance, you can see that 95% of it goes to traders and not smallholder farmers. In our use case, I'll give you just a number here. In our use case, this is exactly when we have subverted the paradigm. In our case, 95, exactly this number, 94-95% has actually gone to farmers. So we have given over 52 crore worth of loans. This is the number as of yesterday. Around 52 crore worth of loans we have given, which is somewhere in dollars around $6 million. In that $6 million worth of loans that we have given to over 18,000 farmers, 95% of them are small and smallholder and marginal farmers. On the other hand, traders have taken a loan, which is 5 to 7% only. So it is just exactly the opposite. And this is all happening on blockchain. This is available. Of course, not available to the public because I have a slide on types of blockchain. Just next slide is what I have on types of blockchain. And so I would show that to you, where we would go through the various types of blockchain where I'll tell you that why we chose a permission blockchain and what we could have done with any other kind of blockchain. And then there are other use cases as well, which happen on public blockchain, like the DeFi use case. We'll just get to that in a second. All right. Yes. So the next is itself types of blockchain. So there are 3 types of blockchain primarily. Okay, before going that, I would just like to give you a basic understanding of how blockchain works. I'll take 2 minutes and I would share a simple video with you here. Let me stop the share and open that here so that I can share the entire screen. Just give me 1 second. Yeah, sorry. Okay. Please let me know, sir, once you can see the screen. I'll share the entire screen currently. Okay, yes, now.
It is not visible yet.
Yeah, yes. I was not able to find
out. Now it is coming.
Okay, so this is a video. This is done by BBC, by the way, and this is a very wonderful video where we can see that what kind of. Okay, so I see a chat which is that can't hear. Is it? Am I audible now, sir? All good,
yes,
right?
You are audible.
Okay. Thank you, sir. All right. So
when you want to buy,
sir, was this sound also coming? Ankur sir, could you just confirm? Did you hear the video as well?
Yes.
Okay, then I'll play the video. So we'll just go through this 2-minute video, and we will be able to see that how exactly blockchain works in a very non-technical kind of manner. Let's go and let's take a look at this video.
When you want to buy something normally using your normal bank card, this is what happens. I give my card details to the shop. The shop asks the bank if I'm good for the money. The bank checks its records to see if I've got enough in my account. If I do, it lets the shop know. It updates its records to show the movement of money from my account to the shop's. Oh, and it takes a little cut for its trouble. Now, if you wanted to remove the bank from that system, who else would you trust to keep those records and not alter them or cheat in any way? Trust me. wouldn't trust you. In fact, I wouldn't trust any single person, but I might trust everyone. The idea is you don't have a central record of transactions. Instead, you distribute many, many copies of this ledger around the world. Each owner of each copy records every transaction. So, to buy something using cryptocurrency, I give the shop my details. The shop asks all the bookkeepers if I'm good for the money. The bookkeepers all check their records to see if I have enough. If I do, they tell the shop, and then all update their records to show the movement of money. So there's no way that a forged transaction can make it in. If I try to alter a ledger, it won't match all of the other copies, and it gets rejected. And one of them, at random, will be given a reward of some newly created cryptocurrency. This is how cryptocurrencies work. And remember, all of these bookkeepers, all of these ledgers, they're not actually people, they're computers. Lots of computers.
All right. So I hope that was a useful video. So this is how you see that you cannot change anything going back in blockchain. This is what exactly I was talking about. And I believe that you must have already attended some fundamentals lecture in blockchain, so you understand the nitty-gritty of the same here. And so that's exactly what blockchain is all about. Going back to our own example. So now you understand that when I'm talking about, I'll just close this quickly. Yeah. When I'm talking about when I'm talking about all these use cases, all these characteristics of blockchain technology, that is what it stems from. You cannot go back and change something on a blockchain network because of the way it is built, because of the cryptography involved in it, because of the hashing, right? As a quick look, which was not there in the video, as a quick look into that, if this is what a blockchain looks like, these are the blocks of transactions. Basically, every block is a block of transactions. If this is the current block, say for example, you give $10 here, you cannot go, and now after that 3 blocks have come up, you cannot go back and change this to $100. Why? Because this is like a linked list, right? You would have to first, after this, you know that there's a process called mining, right? What you would have to do is that you have to go back here and you have to change that $10 to $100 and then remine that block. It is like a linked list, as I told you. So every block has a certain key to it, which is the previous hash. This previous hash key is linking it to the previous block. So basically, the hash of this block is used in this block. The hash of this block is used in this block. Similarly, going forward, and every block has a hash of the last block. And now you can understand the chain forming, which is why you would understand that this block technically does not only have the hash of this previous block, it has the hash of all the other blocks that have happened in the past before this particular block, right? Because everyone had a past in the recent block. In the entire Bitcoin blockchain, if you take a look at the first block that had happened when Satoshi Nakamoto did the first transaction, even at that time, even from that time, the hash is there, and then that hash has been used in next block and so on. And that is why you cannot go back and change something, because that would mean changing everything in the upcoming blocks. Theoretically, even that is possible because you can just remine the block, every other block. But point is that in a blockchain like Bitcoin, when it takes such a humongous amount of resource, power, electricity to mine a particular block across thousands and thousands of miners on the network, what is the probability that you would be able to remine this block, then this block, then this block, and this block, all the 4 blocks, before the next block is mined by anyone else in the world? Practicality is absolutely zero, right? It is not practical that says that you will be able to mine all the 4 blocks in the past and then you will also be able to mine the next block first. It cannot happen. It's not practical, right? The entire Bitcoin network consumes more electricity than the entire country of Argentina. That's a lot of resources, that's a lot of electricity, and that's a lot of heat generated. So that's why you cannot, you do not have the resources to do that. That is why the blockchain is robust. That is why the blockchain is so secure. You cannot break a blockchain. Yes, you can break a blockchain if the number of nodes are less, because then again, it is easy for you. The power used is less. But as the blockchain network grows, like Bitcoin, Ethereum, they have grown to an extent that hacking them in this fashion is not possible. So, all right, I hope that that was a quick 5-minute primer on how blockchains work. So it would help us in going ahead. Now coming to, that's why I wanted to do it before types of blockchain. Coming to types of blockchain, there are 3 kinds of blockchain: public, private, and then a combination of that, which is a consortium hybrid. You must have heard about consortium blockchains, or permission, which I wrote earlier, permission blockchain, and so on. So combination of these. Public blockchain, a good example is Bitcoin, Ethereum, Matic, any of those blockchains that you have heard about. You know that they have a cryptocurrency to themselves as well. Hybrid or consortium blockchains, a good example would be Nestle's own blockchain, our blockchain, IBM's blockchain, and so on. JP Morgan's blockchain. That's all. So quick look. In the interest of time, we will skip this because I'm already at 10:44 IST here. So we'll skip this part. But just to give an overview here, this is what the critical difference is between public and permission. Let's leave private for now. Public is all the blockchains that you see. They are definitely much secure, but they are definitely also very slow. Bitcoin, it takes an average of 10 minutes to create a new block, and it is an average. This average is taken over 2 weeks of blocks, not just 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 blocks, right? So which means that if you visit a blockchain explorer of Bitcoin, you would see that some block must have happened before. I can show that to you. Some block must have happened at least, about 10 minutes back, and some might have happened about 40 minutes back, right? Let's take a look quickly here. Yes, you can see that the last block happened 12 minutes back, which is very much which is fine with the average that we know. Then there are other blocks which have formed 20 minutes, 30 minutes, 40 minutes ago. So there is a difference. Here there is a 10-minute difference. Here there is a 10-minute difference. Sometimes at certain points of the day, if you visit the same page, you'll see that last block was mined 44 minutes ago. I was just teaching a class day before yesterday, and we saw that there was no block which was mined in the last 45 minutes. That's a lot of time. Right. So this was a quick example. So that's how public blockchains work. Bitcoin 10 minutes, Ethereum 15 to 20 seconds. On the other hand, in consortium blockchains like ours, it is 50 milliseconds for a block. Compare it with 10 minutes in Bitcoin. So then these are 2 very different use cases. The number of nodes in consortium blockchains are very less. It is not like Bitcoin. You cannot become a consortium node, a node on the consortium blockchain without proper approval. So right now in our case, every bank will sign an agreement with us. They'll sign a license agreement with us. All of these things will happen. And after that, we will create their node. On the other hand, in blockchains like Bitcoin or Ethereum, you would find that you can just, right after this session, you can go to bitcoin.org, I think, or ethereum.org, download that CLI, download that client, and get connected to the blockchain. And very soon, all their blocks would be downloaded into your system, provided you have that kind of space. Ethereum is around 400, 500 GBs at this moment. Bitcoin is more, I guess. Or about the same size. So once you do that, you are participating in mining and other activities as well, provided that you have resources to do that. So that's what the kinds of the types of blockchain are. I'll cross this over. I'll also not do this, but I'll be including this in the presentation which I give to the university. Also, these presentations are available online as well on my Twitter and LinkedIn. So these are freely available decks. I don't keep any deck private. Feel free to reach out and get them as well. So talking about the enterprise blockchain stack or the private blockchain stack, this is what should interest you. Because in many use cases, there is a high chance that any of you, I can see that now it has crossed more than 90 people. There's a high chance that you might not be working on public blockchain always. If you're doing some of your tutorials available online, those are definitely going to be on public blockchain. But if you're in an organization, and if you believe that there is a certain use case, I can tell you that use case is there's a high chance that use case would be a permission use case, a consortium use case. For example, in our case or in any other case, if there are banks involved, if there are government entities involved, or if like in Nestle's use case, there are supply chain participants involved, distributors, manufacturers, suppliers, and so on, wholesalers, etc. Banks will not want to come on a public blockchain and put in their loan details and other customer details on the public blockchain for everyone to see. So most probably all the use cases that I've interacted with in the past, or you would see in your own organization, or even at universities, if you're teaching, you most probably would be teaching both things. And you'll understand that the value that private blockchains and enterprise blockchains have, and these use cases have. The tech stack is not very different. They start from the very basic web-based panels. This is what also we do. If time permits, I'll also show one of my own panels, which the banks use, or the warehouses, the government warehouses use. It is a simple JavaScript-based, Node.js-based, mean stack-based web application turned into a DApp, turned into a decentralized app, so that it can access blockchain technology running underlying it. The systems, again, the services are the custom Node.js and the middleware services, the APIs that perform the actions. It also involves other integrations. It is a very crucial factor of enterprise use. Okay. Sir, I think the recording has stopped. You want me to wait till the recording is started again?
Yeah, let me check with Dr. Ankur. Yeah, it's
Okay,
on
I
now.
think it will go. Sure. Thank you. Okay, so right, talking about enterprise use cases, it is very important to understand that these happen across, these happen across certain integrations as well. For example, the government warehouses in our case use the SAP system. I'm pretty sure everyone is familiar with SAP. Now that SAP system had to be integrated with the world quorum blockchain system, world blockchain system. So that's a very delicate kind of a integration that you do. When I was at Policy Bazaar, we were integrated with a lot of insurers. Both of them are Web 2 technologies. So it is, even though integrations are always very delicate to handle, but both, at least in the case of insurer, like say HDFC Ergo or Bharti AXA and Policy Bazaar, they both are Web 2 technology, one working on Web 2 technologies. But in this case, this is a Web 2 technology. This is a Web 3 technology, right? So you have to be ultra cautious, right, about how to about managing the integrations here. Just giving a thought here. Please make sure that many use cases you'll find, you have to keep these things in mind, because an enterprise solution does not exist without integrating with customers, clients, and third parties. Similar for banks. Say a bank might be running the Finacle software, like Axis Bank does, and other certain banks do. So this has to be integrated. This is very important, because this is financial data, loan data, customer data, right? All of these things are very important in nature. Talking about smart contracts, everything in blockchain is handled by smart contracts. Bitcoin does not have the concept of smart contracts, though programming in blockchain is possible. In the Bitcoin blockchain is possible. Smart contracts were brought into the into the world by Ethereum. So Ethereum, that is why it's called to be the generation 2 of blockchain. So Ethereum is what brought on the Gen 2 of blockchain technology. Bitcoin was first. And that is why you can see that many use cases, all these use cases run on Ethereum only, right? You can do cryptocurrency on Ethereum, you can do decentralized finance on Ethereum, other kinds of smart contracts. We are doing our entire thing without cryptocurrency on Ethereum based blockchain, right? This has given unparalleled capability. Closing this particular use case here. So in the next couple of slides, this is how the system is arranged. In your use cases also, most of your use cases, this kind of an architecture should act as a common ground between Web 2 and Web 3. Web 2 and Web 3 parts of your system. You can see that clearly we have differentiated between what is running on chain and what is running off chain. Farmers, traders, they use a digital mobile application which is running on your phone, on your Google Android phone. It does not have to write to the blockchain. On the other hand, banks, warehouses, custodians, other third parties, they are dealing with information such as loan data, loan information, warehouse deposit data, crop data, temperature, moisture data. All of these things have to be put on blockchain. Otherwise, how are we even stopping the frauds? That is why they write to blockchain. That is why they are on a different architecture level altogether. And I'm pretty sure if you take a look at Nestle's diagram, it will look like very similar as well, because Nestle also have Web 2 and Web 3 components. And this also should tell you that you would also have these components in any use case that you're looking at. And I'll skip some of these slides because I've already kind of told you. So yeah, as a sum up, you can take a look at what the kind of benefits a blockchain system like this can provide to not just banks or farmers or warehouses or government, but all 4 categories of customers that we can have. And these are plenty of use cases. If one such fintech use case, which no one even looked at before, is revolutionized by using blockchain technology, there is such a high chance that anything that you're currently working on. Let me ask you a question. Okay, let me see how many of you, how many people in the audience right now. I can see that it has touched 100 participants. So it's a good time to ask a question. Which is a use case? Which is a use case in India right now? Which is a use case in India where, which every one of you, all these 101 people, everyone, including me, everyone has used it on a very daily basis, and you use it every day. Let me see if you can write in the chat. I hope everyone has access to the chat. Let me see how many answers we can get. I can tell you that till now I have in very low number of such sessions, I've got a correct answer to this question I just asked. I'm talking about, okay, so Arun sir has said cryptocurrency. Let me go ahead with a hint here. So a hint here would be for everyone before others start writing the answers. A hint here would be, what use case I'm talking to you about is being used by you, me, everyone on a daily basis, directly or indirectly. That is also a point. It can be directly used or it can also be indirectly used. Another hint before others writing it, others start writing. Another hint. I'm not just talking about you and I who are attempting this. So Arun sir has said healthcare industry. Now I'm going to give you another hint. So even it is not just us who are there studying about blockchain. It is also maybe your parents, maybe your grandparents, if they're there. It is everyone who is kind of, this is a hint, who is using this particular implementation use case on a daily basis. And I can tell you since morning you have used that. Most probably directly or indirectly since morning you have used it. Let's see any answers. Come on, 101 people and only Arun sir has answered in the chat till now. We'll give you 30 seconds. Let's see. Okay, so I see another answer is Arogya Setu. Did you have to use Arogya Setu today since morning, unless you were traveling on, you were traveling on flight or something? So Arun sir has said WhatsApp messages. No, it is not. Because many grandparents, my grandmother is there and she is not on WhatsApp. But I can tell you that she has used this use case since morning today. Okay, another very common answer which I usually get is online transactions through Paytm and Google Pay. This is one of the very most common answers, but my grandmother did not pay anyone with Google Pay this morning. Okay, people are going close. Weather forecast, no. Even I did not check my weather forecast today. And it is not on blockchain right now. E-newspaper, no, it is not on blockchain right now. And I have not read today's e-newspaper yet, Mr. Sachin. Let me see. 100 people, I think I should have seen flowing information here in the chat. Let's see, any other, come on. No, not online payments, but a very, very common use case. It is so common that I can understand that why people are not even thinking about it. Mr. Porek has actually gone very close. Just as a hint, Mr. Porek has gone very close. Dr. Nitin has said share market. No, sir. My grandmother has not used share market since morning. Even I haven't. Google Drive. My grandmother has not used Google Drive since morning, Mr. Patil. I'm telling you, my grandmother has used that, and your parents and your grandparents might have used that as well. Okay, now Arun sir has gone very close, so I will take the liberty to answer it now, because I think Arun sir has gone the closest, and now he has spot on answered it. Now it's text messages, so we can stop writing anymore. So yes, Arun sir, it is correctly text messages. In fact, I can show you. Try basically, if you see, Try came up with this entire blockchain initiative, and now every provider that you have, Vodafone, BSNL, so Vodafone Idea, BSNL, then Airtel, Jio, everyone. I'll just show you. BSNL, True Connect is, I think True Connect is Jio, I think. BSNL DLT, yeah, True Connect. This is I'll just show you that everyone is there. Take a look. This is Vodafone Idea, right? A secure DLT platform. If we go down here, Willpower is a blockchain-based stack that empowers individuals to truly own, control, and manage their commercial communications. So that's it. All these text messages that you're receiving since today, that is why I told you that my grandmother does not have a phone with WhatsApp on it, but she does have a phone with text messages on it. It is one of the biggest use cases in India right now, and people just don't know about it. So since about 1 year, May 2021, around May 2021, Try made it mandatory for every organization to be registered on the blockchain platform. Does not matter which provider you're from. It can be BSNL. Again, you can see it is the same provider, so they have the similar kind of a website. Same for Jio, True Connect. No, this is something else. Yeah, Jio, True Connect. I guess this is the website. I'm not sure. Yeah, maybe. Anyways, I won't go into that. So Jio is called True Connect. Every platform has that. Now you can see that all of these platforms, does not matter which provider you have to register on the blockchain platform, on the DLT platform. Only then you would be able to send your customers any kind of SMSs. We had to do it to be able to send loan messages to our farmers. Even, your banks would have had to do it. If you receive Policy Bazaar SMSs, Policy Bazaar had to do it. Every SMS that you receive right now comes from this blockchain, via this blockchain platform. Even though the agenda for this was to stop spam calls and spam messages and spam marketing messages, promotional messages, even though I do not personally see the effect, because I continue to receive a lot of spam messages and calls. But I guess that they have not brought this into full effect till now, not that strictly, but that is TRI's goal, that ultimately they would use blockchain technology to solve this pesky calls and SMSs from the providers. So we cannot send an SMS until and unless we have that template ready, and that template has been put on the blockchain, verified on the blockchain. It has been verified on the blockchain. If we see it green on the blockchain network, only then we can configure our app to send those messages to the farmer or anyone. And this is for every message that you're possibly receiving on your phone right now from any provider that you see. Biggest use cases. I hope you all will remember this, this use case was not even planned today. I did not have a slide for it, but this just came to my mind. And this is, I think, bigger than any other use case that I had planned for today's session. Another very use case where I will not spend time on asking the question here. I'll just tell you another very prominent use case in India that has just come up last year is CBSE, Central Board of Secondary Education. Has last year, you can read about it online, has put the 2021 starting from 2021 batch, have put that class 10 and 12 mark sheets, transfer certificate, migration certificate, all those documents on blockchain. They have come up with a blockchain network, and they put all of that on the blockchain. And now they've also promised that now they'll gradually, now they'll also go back. So like when I passed out from CBSE, or from whenever you guys, everyone passed out from CBSE, all of those mark sheets would also come on blockchain very soon. This is done so that later on, because mark sheet forgery and document forgery is very common these days. So that's where, if you remember, as I told you earlier, that's where blockchain helps, right? This is what immutability, transparency, all of these things, when made available to constituents, to parties, to components, it helps. Blockchain technology helps with frauds from happening. So because of document forgery and mark sheet forgery, CBSE came up with this step, and this network would be available to access to universities, India, and even abroad, if that's so, then to companies who are looking to give jobs to someone. So once you're applying to someone, the company would be able to refer to your mark sheet on the CBSE blockchain network to check that whether it is actually there or not, or it's a forged copy. This will solve this problem 100%. You can see the magnitude of this kind of an experiment, right? Which CBSE has done. So largely that's what these two use cases just came to my mind, and I think these were very good use cases, which I had not planned, but happily they came to my mind. So that's it. Here I complete my own use case as well. So this is what the use case has been. I'll share the IIM Ahmedabad case study link on chat later on. So feel free to go and read that. It's a very prominent case study in India at this moment for use of blockchain technology for a segment like farmers and agriculture. Quick look. This is what I told you that I would want to show you a direct taste of blockchain. Let me go there. This is how the warehouse receipt looks like. I'm going a bit fast because I see I have I don't have a lot of time available. 15 more minutes maybe. After that, we'll go to questions. So basically, this is what you can see, that every details from farmer details to crop details, and then if there are any loan details, it is available here. Loan in favor of MSC Bank, amount 4 lakh INR, 400K INR. All of these details are there. This is available to the banks. Okay, Professor Abdul, I see that you have sent a question. Would you please mind sending the question to everyone? You sent it directly to me, so when I answer, everyone will not be able to understand what I'm answering. So requesting everyone, if you could just post the question on everyone, just make sure that it is everyone selected. And I will take the questions right in about 15-17 minutes more, just completing a few of these use cases. Thank you. So so this is what the use case looks like. And I would urge every one of you here to make your iPhones or Android phones a DApp, a decentralized app, by scanning this QR code on your screen. I'll just zoom it in so that it gets scanned easily. When you scan this, let me know if anyone is trying that out. When you scan this, or I'll try that out in front of you. So when you scan this, right? When you scan this QR code, basically what happens is your Safari browser or your Chrome browser on your phone becomes a decentralized app, a DApp, because it talks to the blockchain network. Which blockchain network? World's Quorum blockchain network, which is a permission blockchain network, by the way. And it fetches every time you open this particular link or you scan this QR code. I hope anyone is scanning the QR code. So if you're doing that, let me know if it is coming on your phone as well. Once you do that, otherwise I'll also do it in front of you. Once you do that, you'll see that all this data that you see is real time. It is not coming from a database. We do use databases at World, but not for this purpose. Any data that you see here is not coming from the database. Rather, it is being fetched in live real time from the blockchain network only, which is the USP of this use case. Banks, if a farmer or a trader takes a printout of this receipt to a bank, it will have the whole data. It will have this data that where, it would be called that this loan amount is zero. It has not been given loan. But the point is, then if the bank then gives a loan, it might happen that on an actual receipt, the trader has already taken a loan. So it is a classic fraud. It is a classic case of fraud where you have taken two loans against the same commodity, multiple lending, double spending, right? That is why we urge the banks to, even if they're not on the platform, to scan this QR code, get it online in front of them, and then see that, okay, whether the real-time receipt also shows that no loan has been given. If it is there, feel free to go ahead and give a loan as a bank, right? I'm not sure if anyone else is trying, so I'll just try it out. So I'll just do that. Okay, just give me 1 second. Okay, it's not coming. Yeah. So I've just opened it, and it is receipt is generating here. I'm not sure if you're able to see. Now, if you see this, it won't come properly, but if you visit it at your own end, then you'll be able to see. Now, if I go down, this is an updated receipt. This is an updated receipt, and how you can see that? I can see that down below, this entire, my download count has become 97. I'm not sure if you're able to see it or not. This download count has become 97. If you scan it as well, you'll see that your download count would be different than mine. Yeah, it is 97, right? You're able to see on screen. You can see it is 92. On here, it is 97. This is one change that you can see. Otherwise, all these details that you see, these are also fetching from the blockchain. If I would have shown that, the loan gets applied right now, there would be a clear difference. I'm not sure if you scanned it. Otherwise, you would have been able to see it. So this is a direct use case of how you are able to access blockchain technology from the palm of your hands. It's from your phone browser. Right. So that's largely it. This is one use case I wanted to show you. And this is an actual production warehouse receipt. This is not a test receipt. This is an actual farmer and from Maharashtra government warehouses. Right. Okay. So that's largely it. And yeah, so this is one use case done. The next use case is decentralized finance. Talking about, I told you earlier that decentralized finance is a big use case where a lot of these factors are coming in, that financial inclusion is a problem. With DeFi, okay, when the Ukraine problem that has been going on, the war, many people have posted it that I do not have access to my bank accounts. I don't have access to my other savings accounts or the fixed deposits that I did, or to the share market. Nothing is working in my country. People posted that. But later on, when we are talking about when they talked about blockchain and cryptocurrencies, they said this, that because I was on this DeFi platform, or in my wallet, I owned certain cryptocurrencies like Ethereum or Bitcoin, or stable coins like USD dollar, USD Tether. All of these coins I still have access to, because they just need one wallet and my computer, or even my phone. So that is the only money that I have access to at this moment, and to keep myself afloat. And I don't have any access to banks. So DeFi does that. That is the kind of impact DeFi can have. Decentralized finance is basically finance which is not being handled by the centralized banks that you're aware of. When decentralized finance we are talking about, it is a very big use case. I am not doing justice today by just covering it in 5 minutes. I am honestly urging that every one of you look at decentralized finance. In fact, I just saw a course from IIM Calcutta, right? It is 1 kilometer away from my house here. So IIM Calcutta has come up with a course. Just yesterday I saw it. IIM Calcutta has come up with a course specifically on DeFi. Search for it. Might be a good course. I've not done that, but it is on DeFi. So people are understanding the importance of DeFi. And this is what gives you access to multiple financial products right out of the box without the regulation, which is what brings the cost down, which is what brings the turnaround time down, and brings the ease of use down as well. It's a big use case where you are getting access to a lot of fintech products, and fintech is the future. And with India, where India is placed with fintech, everything happening via UPI and QR codes and etc., these kinds of use cases are revolutionary, right? So again, I'm going to skip these slides, but okay, so that's DeFi. I've not covered DeFi in a lot of detail because of the lack of time. I'm already at around 11:07 IST here. But honestly speaking, you want to get into DeFi, you want to understand DeFi in much more depth. Still, if you have any doubts, if you go to any use case and you have doubts, feel free to reach out. I have given my credentials before. I'll also leave my credentials later on here in the chat, right in the next 10 minutes when we start off questions. Feel free to reach out and let me know if there is anything that I can help you to understand DeFi and get into DeFi. Another use case is provenance tracking. Now we have gone away from fintech and now into AWS's Amazon's track and trace solution. Big use case. This is what I believe Nestle has also used. They are coming up with all of these things like the quality control. You remember when the problem happened with Maggie, when they had to call back so many of their consignments. Quality control with blockchain technology in the backend is much easier, right? Whenever you know that a batch has gone faulty, you can easily recall it. Costing goes down heavily because every single person comes on the blockchain network, and at this point in time, you are basically having access to all the information from your distributors, manufacturers, customers, wholesalers, retailers, everyone in a single platform and one by one in a very seamless fashion. So all of that, like a supply relationship, costing, all of these things become much better, right? All stakeholders come on the platform as needed. Unforeseen delays are avoided at all costs because you have all information in the tip of your fingers, and even the customers have that. There would be some experimental examples you'll see on YouTube and other areas where people are going to a supermarket and they're scanning the QR code and it is being fetched from the blockchain. It can be done without blockchain as well, but then how would you trust it? The whole concept of decentralization is that you are able to trust it, so that you don't have to trust a centralized organization like your bank or Google, Facebook, WhatsApp, etc. Right? So all of these things come with blockchain technology. You can see that challenges here in supply chain without blockchain is everyone facing some kind of loss here, either a data loss or quality control loss or not being in real time, right? Inaccurate demand and supply data. So the wholesaler does not know when to fulfill its own go downs. The retailer doesn't know anything about it, and the consumer is in loss because has no idea whether the food they are eating, what history it has. On the other hand, with AWS technology or any such supply chain technology, all of these people are writing on the same common blockchain network and everyone is on the same page. And at the end, the customer is able to, just like you scanned my QR code, maybe you're able to scan a QR code here and then you're able to easily get access to all the information of where it came from, when it got manufactured, when it was in logistics, what kind of temperatures it was, exposed to during logistics and so on. Of course, then it is in the hands of the company to see that what information they give to the people outside. What are the other use cases? We are almost at the end, just a couple of more slides, and then we'll take questions. So we'll be done in the next 5 minutes. So another very big use case is food and agriculture, not just the fintech one that we have already spoken about. This is food and agriculture in terms of supply chain, quality, grain produce, etc. And there are many use cases out there as well. We are not definitely discussing them in detail, but these are very good use cases. Pharmaceuticals, in order to reduce counterfeit medicines, or even pharmaceuticals and healthcare, right? So Arun sir also gave an answer that before, that healthcare is a very important, he used the word healthcare. So it comes to my mind, healthcare is a very important segment in which is using blockchain. And there are a couple of companies and use cases which have implemented blockchain in healthcare. Either it can be either for EHRs on blockchain. EHRs is electronic health records on blockchain, giving timed and transparent access to certain doctors and then revoking them, all happening on the blockchain. So if the doctor has done some misuse of your information, it will be on the blockchain as well, right? In fact, healthcare, just to share, my next book, which is coming in about 15-20 days more, or one month, is completely focused on healthcare. The book's name is Healthcare, Blockchain in Healthcare. And we explore so many use cases there. In the past also, in 2020, I think, talking about vaccines, couple of UK organizations, I believe from the UK, they tried vaccine trials on blockchain technology and they were successful in it. Their case study, I'm not remembering the name. Their case study is available online. I've seen them. So there are so multiple use cases. Pharmacovigilance, I'm not written that here, but that's a very big use case as well. Then pharmaceuticals, pharmacovigilance, medicines, healthcare, EHRs, doctor-patient confidentiality. All of these things are all can be done on blockchain, because these have some real use cases. This is not just force-fitting blockchain. People have faced problems with this, and now they know that blockchain is the answer. Manufacturing, we already saw what it can do to supply chain and other garments or seeds manufacturing, something we've also looked at. So it's a very good use case. All of these things, they save a lot of money when blockchain is used, and what they can streamline the entire process. Similarly for mining and all other use cases. A big use case here is of the insurance. Some companies have started exploring insurance using blockchain. Accenture gave out a report which showed that people can go from anywhere around $9,900 or $100 million to around $277 million savings over a period of 3 years just by implementing technology like blockchain and others such as IoT sensors, oracles, and artificial intelligence, etc. That's a lot of savings. That's a lot of savings for a company of even a decent size. Bigger companies can definitely understand much more savings. $100 million, even if the lower amount we take over a period of 2 to 3 years, is still a lot of savings, right? Because currently I've been at Policybazaar and I've seen that this kind of process is so manual right now. And it's so opaque at this moment. Nothing is transparent here. With blockchain, all of that can be solved in a jiffy. Estonia, another use case. This is the last use case I have. So all of these slides I've given one slide because we do not have time to discuss them in detail, but I would really urge that everyone here, 100 plus people here, please do take a look at these use cases at your own end. Reach out to me. I'll leave my credentials in the chat. Reach out to me. I'll give my credentials in the chat right away so that people who are dropping off at the end still get this. So I'm giving my LinkedIn here. A good way to reach me is LinkedIn. Please feel free to reach me and ask any questions that you might have. I hope the link is correct. I've given it in the chat. Feel free to reach out, right? Anytime, even years from now, and I hope I still would be in blockchain and I would be able to answer your questions. Coming back to the slide. Estonia. So Estonia as a country has established in the entire, the government, multiple of the government systems on blockchain. Many of them are just digital and not on blockchain, but few of them are. You can get e-residency very easily. You can establish companies very easily online, not even by visiting Estonia. From sitting from India or anywhere else, you can easily create a company in Estonia and also register it and incorporate it. Then state services and online services have come on blockchain to some extent. ID cards are completely digital, and some of them are coming on blockchain as well. Big use case. This is a humongous use case, to be honest, as a country, and it's astonishing how a country could demonstrate this scale of a use case. Most of it being on blockchain technology. Yeah, yes, sir. We'll take questions very soon. I'm just closing in just a couple of slides. I want to cover this myths of blockchain. Please listen to me very carefully.
No, you take your time. We have time. So
sure, sir. Yeah, we have time.
Don't worry.
But anyways, I'm almost done. And after that, I want to keep the most time for questions because I believe that's where the audience would learn the most. The slides I would anyways give the slides to the university. You can take it from them. This is a very big use case, a very big myth. First of all, people believe that blockchain is a truth machine. Anything you put in blockchain, you're always going to get correct data. It is not possible, right? It's a computer technology. It is just like garbage in, garbage out. If you don't feed correct data to it. So like in our use case also, when we are talking about fintech data or the WHR data, if the warehouse in charge, if we don't have checks in place where we enable the warehouse in charge to enter correct data into the blockchain, there is, to give accurate loans if the data is not correct. That is why it is not just blockchain which is the answer. So after all this entire case study that I've shown you, one hint here is that only blockchain is not always the answer. In fact, what is the answer is blockchain, definitely blockchain plus other tech. The other tech that you can bring in. Blockchain is not the answer to all your problems. Blockchain plus other kinds of technology. Like in our case, if we want to prevent other frauds which happen physically in the warehouse, blockchain cannot do anything. If someone breaks the law, comes into the warehouse and just steals bags of rice, blockchain cannot do anything. But in that case, what we are doing is what we are researching on doing is going there and installing computer vision enabled CCTV cameras, installing RFID chips inside cotton bales, and then the bales are formed. The cotton bales are formed, installing sensors to detect temperatures and moisture and fire, etc. All of these things in warehouse physically. Again, all of these would be light nodes. It's not like they're completely disjointed from blockchain. All of these would be light nodes which would be pushing data to the blockchain in real time. So we would know in real time whether something bad is happening or not, covering all these sides of the problem. Not just blockchain can go and stop people from stealing goods, but other technologies can. So blockchain, first of all, is not a truth machine, and blockchain cannot do everything. Now, coming to another very big use case, people want to implement. I told you at the beginning itself, people just want to want to implement blockchain. Blockchain has a lot of overheads. It's not your everyday block database technology like MongoDB or other open source database technologies. It's not like that. When you're implementing blockchain, every node will take up a space, and as more and more transactions happen, it will grow and grow, right? Just like Ethereum, people are talking about sharding and everything, but currently Ethereum is around 500 GBs in storage. So talking about blockchain, plus these are all, if you're doing it on cloud, these are all separate instances. Like I'll give you my example, and it'll be very clear with you. I currently host around 6 to 7 nodes, 5 to 6 nodes in my own cloud, AWS cloud. Every node, even with the bare minimum or the medium configuration, is around, in talking about INR, Indian rupees, is around 7,000 to 8,000 Indian rupees, sometimes 10,000 based on the configuration. But again, $150, $200, around $200 if I'm talking about USD. So around $200 I have to pay for every instance that is there in my AWS account. 656 of them, it is over $1,000. So my last month's bill was also $950, approx $950. It is not just me. Every bank which is there on our platform, they had to set up their own node in their own AWS or Azure or on-premise operation. That is also costing them money. Like if they have one node, they're paying $200 to $50, $300 based on the configuration. Same for the government warehouses, every warehouse, everyone is doing this, right? Luckily, everyone is actually paying money. Luckily, in my case, we, as I told you earlier, we are one of the top startups for Amazon, and they have given us a lot of credits. So this $950 bill which came into my account last month for May, I did not have to pay it. It got deducted from credit. So it is not pinching me a lot, that $1,000 I paid just to keep these nodes. But if you're doing that, if you don't have these kinds of credits from AWS or Azure, we have over 1 crore in 1 crore or 100K in dollars around 130K in dollars from Azure in credits. It will help us go on for forever. But that we got that once we became one of top 11 startups in India for Azure by Microsoft. Before that, we were paying money for this, right? And as a startup, and I'm pretty sure if anyone here is looking to do a startup or just looking to do some implementation, if you do not have such credits, it is going to be very costly for you to pay every month. So it is very important to understand that blockchain is not free. That's why it is important, if you're not solving some critical problem with blockchain like we do, if I'm spending $1,000 on upkeep of this blockchain, I am providing this to banks, and banks are using the system to prevent billions of dollars in frauds, right? So in front of this billions of dollars, this is a very small amount. But if they use this to prevent $10 worth of frauds, then they would never ever do it, because it does not make sense to prevent something as low as $10 and pay $1,000 for that. That's why this amount gets offset. But in many use cases, I've seen people get into blockchain, people want to deploy blockchain solutions, but then after 2 months, they are like, it's very costly. It's very costly. It is very costly. So make sure that you don't force fit blockchain. It is very, very important. That's it. So I'm done. That's it. I think we are good on time, 11:20. We have 10 minutes for questions and answers. I am sharing some resources here. Please find them on the slides. This is Nestle's, as I told you earlier, just one more minute. This Nestle's use case is a big use case, right? And this is from Forbes. And then Maya's use case, which is a Harvard Business Review use case. So again, a big use case. Please go through them. I've taught these use cases in the past, and they're wonderful use cases. This will give you a good clarity of how conglomerates at that level are using blockchain. And Myers also tells you at the end of their use case that how much they were able to save with that. I'll also use my own IIM Ahmedabad use case as well. And that's it. So that's it. I'm done. Okay. Yeah. So please, I'm just giving you a small link. This is a 10-second feedback form, anonymous feedback form. It helps me make my sessions better. I hope the session was good. 5 is the highest on this. You can even fill it from your phone. By the time I'm taking questions, I request everyone, please just
Abhishek ji, I request you to drop this link in the chat window so that people can access it directly. Yeah.
Yes, just doing it. So I've just dropped it in the chat window, and everyone, it is actually a 10-second form. I'm not lying. And it is also opening. It will also open on your phone. Very easy to use form. 5 is the highest, 1 is the lowest. Please do give the feedback. It would help. Yes, sir. I'm ready.
Yeah. Yeah. Would you like to read the questions from the chat window on your own, or should I read it for you?
No, sir. I think I'll be able to do so. First question I have is from Professor Abdul, which is blockchain technology. How much percentage used in India? So this is a very broad question, to be honest, Professor, that because it is depending on use case, right? If you're talking about some fintech use case, there's a huge percentage of use cases that are mostly in fintech, because fintech is prone with frauds and scams and scandals, we know. So talking about blockchain implementation, fintech has seen the most use case, right? Like we are in fintech, then other people trying to do some cryptocurrency based payments is a fintech use case. People who are looking to, you know, give you let you do SIPs, crypto SIPs, again fintech based, right? People have actually come up, I've seen a couple of use cases. I'm not sure if government would allow them to run for a long time, but I've seen a couple of use cases where you're using UPI with crypto payments. It is just like, you know, you go to a shop, they've shown it live. You go to a shop, you scan the, you know, Paytm QR, Bharat QR, whichever QR you have, you scan it, it'll open up in your wallet, and then you'll just put it and it will be paid in crypto. Beautiful use case. But yeah, so again, but there are other use cases also, like telecommunication, then documents, then many other use cases, Professor, which are coming up on blockchain technology. So I guess then that would be an answer. Another question is, telephone company uses blockchain, but sometimes caller ID show a spam call from correct person. Why? It is a different story. Your caller ID, actually, Mr. Vibor, you're talking about Truecaller. I'm pretty sure. So Truecaller is something different. So Truecaller has nothing to do with blockchain, first of all. And Truecaller shows you a spam when maybe 10, 20, 30, 100, 200 people, other people have marked it as spam, right? It is completely disjointed from the blockchain tech that is being used at the TRAI's end. Also, this ideally should be solved by TRAI, because when they released this platform, they wrote it in big bold letters that what we want to do is stop pesky calls and SMSs by using blockchain technology. But I'll be very honest, even I received these pesky calls right now. I'm not sure whether they have implemented it 100%. But they have implemented it, but I'm not sure if they have become strict about it, right? Because to some extent they have, because even some of my own templates where we have maybe used some promotional language, like, you know, get a loan at 9% per annum, all these templates were actually rejected by TRAI's blockchain system. On the other hand, so some restrictions they put, but not in a good extent, I believe. It is an ongoing process. So Professor Abdul has asked that, sir, who is a central controller for blockchain? That's the point. If I was talking about a bank such as Axis Bank or any other bank, it is centralized. That's why you are looking at, when you're looking at you know, your account and HDFC or Axis Bank, you are working with this just one server, one organization called Axis Bank or HDFC Bank or SBI, and they have their own centralized servers. Blockchain works in this fashion. Blockchain is a network. I believe you, if you have seen the video which I showed in around 10 a.m. today, 10:15 a.m. today, it is how blockchain works, that every node is interconnected with each other. And now what happens is that everyone has an understanding of what is happening. So till the time, in fact, if this node goes down, if this node goes down, all nodes go down. Until unless at least one node is there, your blockchain network will always be running. So there is no central controller. In fact, central word is exactly what we don't use with blockchain, because the word we use with blockchain is decentralization. So decentralization is what we use. So that's why there's no central controller in blockchain. And that's the core identity of blockchain technology. Okay, I see Prantik has written, hi Abhishek, nice to meet you once again virtually. How much are farmers able to gain on MSPs through blockchain once middlemen are removed from agrarian economy? If the gain is high, then it resolves much of the issue of the farm bill that was recently revoked by government of India. So Prantik, first of all, happy to see you and hear from you here. Thank you so much for joining this. This bill that you're talking about, in fact, this bill was actually would have acted as a tailwind for us. Based on this bill, we had created an entire trading platform, because this bill also allowed farmers to trade their receipts, trade their goods from the comfort of their home across any market boundaries, right? Across market boundaries in other states, etc., which currently is not possible. You can only sell in your APMC centers. So, but because that bill got revoked, bill did not pass, we also had to put a stop on our trading platform. Now we are trying to do that directly with government, but the trading platform was built on that. So once, if these things can happen, what you are asking, if these things can happen, it is a boon for farmers. Talking about upkeeping the MSP, with blockchain, you're getting access to open prices, right? With blockchain, you're getting access to open prices, visibility across all markets. And see, when you go to buy something, you're able to see the rates across all the markets, right? This is what farmers would have been able to do. And this would have been a very big boon for the farmers. I'm sad that it did not get passed through yet, but yeah, so that they'll be definitely, this is a very big use case for farmers, and they'll only be earning more and more based on this. This is access to finance from the comfort of their home with later on visibility across the trade market as well. So nothing better than that. I hope I answered your question, Prantik. Let me know if there is anything I missed. Okay, Mr. Porek has asked which type of blockchain is the best use case. It is completely, today's entire session was on that depending on your use case. Like we are currently doing a DeFi use case. Till then, when we were only dealing with banks, we did not even use a public blockchain, or we did not use cryptocurrency. We built our own permission blockchain on top of Quorum blockchain. On the other hand, now that we have gone into DeFi, decentralized finance, it is a global fintech network. It cannot exist on a private or permission network. So now we had to tap into a public blockchain like Ethereum and Polygon. So we have gone live. In fact, just yesterday, if you follow us, just yesterday, we released our platform on a test network for people to test on Polygon blockchain, on Polygon test network. That is a public blockchain. So different, based on use cases, it would differ. What kind of use case you're doing, it would differ that what kind of blockchain you are using. So there is no best here. Sometimes you cannot do a permissioned use case on public. So even if the public blockchain is too good, it cannot help you, because your use cases with banks, your use cases with governments, you cannot use a public blockchain, and so on and so forth. Dr. Nitin has asked, what are some, I hope others, I'm answering your questions. If not, please write follow-up questions in the chat. I'll pick them up. Otherwise, I'm going one by one. What are some research topics which can be taken by PhD students? That's a wonderful question. In fact, currently there are multiple open pointers. In fact, right now, one of Amity's PhD students have gotten in touch with me and is working with me to form their objective. So I help a lot of PhD students to form their objective. Later on, they carry on with their PhD work with their respective guides. Because currently there are so many, so many equations which are not been looked at in blockchain. For example, storage. So this is the one that the particular PhD student is working on. Storage in blockchain is a challenge. Transaction throughput. So I'm writing these down, which are there on top of my mind. Rest, maybe if we get in touch on some other platform, I might have other things to share as well. These are on top of my mind. Transaction throughput is a huge problem. Then I think that is also a huge problem, where how to show identity. So KYC, any identity on blockchain, because of which people are using zero knowledge proof, right? Zero knowledge proofs, ZKPs. All of these are problems. Then I think there are many other issues that are there in blockchain technology, which are not very, yes, big use case is bridges between blockchains, because just recently Axie Infinity lost $600 million. So bridges, every Solana bridge hacked, every bridge has been hacked till now almost, right? If you take a look at news on Google, you search for it, you'll see that bridges are very unsafe right now. But bridges are a very, very important component in order to make softwares and protocols cross-chain or multi-chain. Otherwise, people will be restricted to Ethereum or Binance or something else, or Solana, etc. So bridges are very useful in cross-chain implementations, but bridges are very unsafe at this moment. So people are facing a lot of problems with bridges. We are also trying to build our own bridge right now because of our use case, permission to public. So this is another very, very big use case which people can take a look at. Others, these 5-6 things came to my mind, which I'm currently either working with other PhD students or have given these as solutions to some. If anything else comes to my mind, I'll most probably put it on Twitter, or we can connect somewhere else. I hope I answered your question, Dr. Nitin. But these are some of the good studies which are not there. Anything related to cryptography in blockchain is going to be very useful as well. Again, there are some very, very, very good white papers and research papers which I've seen, which I've come across, not read completely, but they are written on cryptography and ZKPs on blockchain. Cryptography, as you know, that is the core of blockchain technology. Blockchain cannot exist without cryptography in between. Wallets are based on public-private key combinations, which is based on cryptography. All these transactions, everything, once today I opened the Bitcoin Explorer, right? Feel free to explore at your end. Any block, any transaction you open, you'll see a hash. That hash comes from cryptography. SHA-256, Bitcoin uses. KEKAC-256, Ethereum uses. All these algorithms. Cryptography. In fact, happy to share that a good interesting thing to share is that my book on blockchain with BPB, the name of the book is Blockchain, right? Secure Chains. But till half of the book, I've shared this before, till half of the book, we don't even write the word blockchain anywhere. We just discuss about cryptography, right? We just discuss about cryptography, elliptic curve, the digital signature algorithm, then public-private key combination, ZKP, all of these things. But blockchain starts after 150 pages onwards, to be very honest, right? So you can understand that how important cryptography is. So, sir, this is another good topic for research, with many people I've seen that are taking, and many good research papers are available as well. I can share some later on. How security is maintained in blockchain technology? So Mr. Patel, this is a huge question. And so security, as I shared earlier with that small diagram, I don't have time to do that again. It's already 11:30 past. But as I shared earlier, that every block is related to the previous block because of the hash, which is based on cryptography. So that's how security is maintained in blockchain. And that's why it makes it unbreakable. How to use, Mr. Porek said, how to use blockchain for security of IoT. Okay, that's a very large question. As I shared in my use, okay, so all of these I've already answered, I guess. So in my use case, when I shared just about 10 minutes back, that we are now bringing in components such as computer vision enabled CCTVs, RFID chips inside cotton bales, because these bales are formed. Once they are formed, they are unbreakable, right? So cotton bales inside, we are placing RFIDs, then sensors to note the temperature and moisture and everything around crops. All of these things can be connected to a Raspberry Pi, and that Raspberry Pi can act as a light node on my blockchain network, and they can in real time push data also. At least that much power is there in Raspberry Pis that they can connect to a blockchain network. So that is how blockchain can be used for security of IoT. This is one such use case. People are doing some case studies where they are securing your home, your smart home controls on blockchain. Again, very, very big use case. Mr. Dharan has asked how blockchain is helpful in home property and patta registration. Please take a look at. I will not have time to explain this, but I have a solution here. Please take a look at how Propi is not India based. I think it's Europe based. But please take a look at Propi, how Propi is doing this with blockchain, and they are doing it on some blockchain, I think, and they are doing land registry on blockchain, and they have brought down 3 days to 3 minutes. Then they have brought down 90%. I remember these numbers. They have brought down the cost of land registration and sale of deeds by 90%. So very, very big use cases here in land registry. In India, I'm not seeing a lot of use cases, but outside it's happening. Our government legally accepted blockchain. So Professor Abdul, that is the point. Blockchain cannot be, this is how I started my session today. Blockchain cannot be legal or illegal. It's a technology. But at least by implementing a tax on cryptocurrencies and NFTs, government has at least told us that yes, they are looking into blockchain in some fashion, and they won't be banning it outright. I think that's the last question. So yeah, so we are yet to see how government reacts to the central bank digital currency and so on. So I hope that's it. So that's it, sir. I guess all questions are done. I don't have any follow-up questions. These are my credentials. Feel free to reach out. I hope you all have filled the feedback form. Please do fill it. It is a very important form for me. And that's it. I'll take leave here then.
Thank you, Abhishek ji. Thank you so much for such an informative session. And you can see the chat window was full of questions, so you can see how active the audience was.
Right, sir.
And this is because of your communication skills and the connect with the audience you could make. So that's because of this only. And it was really a very, very wonderful session in terms of the case studies, the use cases you have discussed.
Thank you.
So we will be looking forward for some more time, so that some more time can be spent with the audience at some later platform. So thank you very much once again for taking out your time and addressing the audience.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you. Thank you, sir. And thank you everyone for joining. And thank you everyone for inviting me today. It was an amazing 2 hours with you all. Thank you.
Our pleasure, sir. Our pleasure. So to the audience, now this feedback link has been shared with you for this session. I request all of you to kindly fill this feedback link, and the next session will be at 2 p.m. So I request all of you to kindly join back us at 1:45 p.m. So the next session, let me tell you, the next session is going to be on Mendeley, which is a very, very important tool for citation, for indexing, and for means maintaining references. So all those who are doing PhD or who have done PhD or who are having PhD candidates who are doing MTech, so this session is going to be very useful for all those candidates. So don't forget to attend that session. So kindly join in time so that we can start and end in time. So we'll be going live once again at 1:45 p.m. So request you all to join us back at 1:45 p.m. today. Thank you, everyone.